Well, making his first ever appearance inside the wind tunnel, a young man that has absolutely captured the imagination of me and many of the fans of the Camping World Truck Series. He has become the sidekick to another tall tree driver, Michael Waltrip, as they treat us to hats and meetings now and again. We're talking about Carson Hocevar. And Carson, welcome to the wind tunnel. And I got to tell you, you've become the yin to Michael Waltrip's yang. Do you enjoy that relationship that's been developing?
It's fun. It's fun, that relationship with Fox and stuff. We get to go have fun for 2-3 hours. It's real laid back. There's no script most of the time. And more so, you just get to have fun. There's a lot worse things I could be doing, or a lot more boring stuff I could be doing than that. It always works out. There's 2-3 hours of we're there for two minutes of video that actually gets used. So it's kind of funny that all the stuff that never gets used or never gets seen, but it's a fun relationship to go do that with Michael and everybody, and it's all good people.
We'll get to your current rise up the ladder. As I said, you've captured the imagination of many of us, but I'm sure that there are a lot of folks that don't know the story. You were what, 11 years old when you went from a quarter midget that had to be pushed off into a full-bodied late model at Berlin Raceway. Am I correct?
Yeah, we tested 11. I raced at 12, but
excuse me.
Oh yeah, but looking back on it, I don't know who was crazy enough, and Johnny Benson was working on maybe that old age or retirement age. He's like, let's have my kid have at it, but yeah, I mean, at the time it made sense to me just because it was me and I was biased as all hell. But now, if there's a 12-year-old racing me, I'd be confused and I'd be like, man, like I'd be scratching my head. So it's just funny that how I've grown up and changed. I'm like, did all that really make sense? Did anybody really think this one through? And luckily it worked out just fine. I didn't make too many pissed off people and make too many enemies.
Well, let me ask you this. When you tested and you sat in that late model, I mean, did you have to have like a phone book? But then again, you're 6'3", so you probably sprouted early. But that jump from a quarter midget to a full-size late model, did you poop yourself?
No, not quite. I mean, I ran a full-size midget, so that kind of slowed the process down a little bit. At least on a big track, and it wasn't just going from literally nothing to 100. At least ran something, but still, it's the hardest part for me was shifting and through the pit area. Like the hardest part wasn't on the racetrack. It was more so like off the racetrack, and there was countless times because that transmission was backwards. It was a high-low gear, so it was different. Like you push the clutch in to go and push the gas. You push it together and then drop both of them, shift up, and there was countless times where we tried to focus on that only rather than worry about how fast we were going.
And NASCAR's rules at the time, you ended up doing very, very well. And then Berlin takes the NASCAR sanction, and the revenuers show up at the doorstep and say, you're not old enough. How disappointing was that as you just began your career and you were doing so well?
It wasn't that big of a deal just because I wanted to go travel and I wanted to go do bigger races. So we're gonna do it next year. So we're just like, okay, we're gonna go do it now. We're gonna go. And my first race that I traveled at, I was racing for lead with John Hunter actually, and he crashed me. Still not letting him live that one down. So I still have that one in my back pocket. Know him, especially for him beating me at Darlington. That's another one in the back pocket. Oh, two. But no, I just happen to remember that. So it's kind of funny. The first pro late model race, I go travel. We're racing door to door and for a win. And, we kind of do the same thing now on Fridays.
I'm probably dating myself, but you know who Harry Gant is, right?
Oh yeah.
Mr. Second Place, right?
Second place.
Don't
go where you're going with this.
Our current Xfinity champion, Mr. Second Place. Well, you're the one that brought it up in Darlington in the post-race interview when you said, I finally understand. I mean, look, Tony Stewart, who I know and probably idolize a little bit, used to always tell me when I would finish second, Jack, you're first loser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true. There's a lot of losers on every night on this sport. There's a lot of losers.
Yeah.
There's way more losers than there are winners. They're only one. So it's tough. We don't go there. I don't go to the racetrack. Oh man, I hope we could finish second today. That'd be a good day. I don't think anybody that does that.
When you look at the way, from the moment you sat in that Niece Motorsports truck 1 year ago, you took to it like a duck to water. You put together some great podium finishes with a limited schedule, and then Al decides to sign you on, because now you're legal and you can go the full season, and you're already putting the numbers up. Sights on the playoffs, just so many things. Are you surprised, Carson, that they've come to you as quickly as they have? Or is this pretty much what you expected?
No, I mean, every race car driver's got a big ego and got massive aspirations, right? But eventually, no matter the equipment, no matter everything about it, you expect to continue to grow and continue to progress. You never want to stall out, whether it's, if we went from running 15th to consistently running top 10, that's pretty good. That's good. But our trucks have gotten, took 2 steps further than I thought they would this quickly this year. And we've gone from running a 10th to 12th consistently, probably 7th to 8th on good days. And, we could strategize ourselves and maybe put ourselves in the back half of the top 5 last year. Now we just have raw pace. Now we go up and drive there and we're racing up front and we're running in the top 5 almost every race, which is good. That's what we want. That's what I expect from myself as well as Niece Motorsports. And we're all hitting our jobs correctly right now. So that's, that's my goal. And that was my goal this year, was to literally finish the top 10 every race. That was my goal. And, I messed up time or 2 earlier this year and blew that. But, we're getting really close to being there very consistently.
Guys like Harvick have always preached that when it's a fast car or a fast truck, when things are going well, and as you're saying, this season, most of the time running up front, that task is easier than, chasing that 15th. But I wonder, from your perspective, now that you are running up front, where do you think you've gotten stronger in terms of your racecraft?
I mean, it's normal for me to be up front now. I've never really gotten nervous, but I know what to expect. It's hard to predict Kyle Busch, right? You never race him. You learn the tactics of people you race. Well, I get to see Kyle 5 times a year in a truck, and last year I never saw him at all because I wasn't running up front when he was running up front. I never got to do that in Vegas and Coda. I got to run with him, because we were just as good. And right there with him. So you learn and peek at a piece, and that showed me, and I almost predicted every move Ross was going to make to get in his clean air and never get stalled out and never get schooled by him at Darlington. And, even though I was running second at the time, it felt like I was deciding on where he was going to put his truck. I knew exactly where he was going to go, and I just knew exactly coming off turn 2. I didn't second guess. I determined where he was going. I could determine where he was going on a restart because I rolled him too quick and he just went. And that's what he said. He wasn't expecting me to roll him as good as I did. And, I definitely jumped it basically in the sense of just not jumping it, but I timed him perfect and almost got him guessing to where I forced him to go. And it was perfect.
From your standpoint, you've just gotten started in the upper tiers of NASCAR. Second year, as I said, in the trucks. Have you got a timetable for where you may, finally be able to check the box and say, all right, I'm up here with the big cats running the NASCAR Cup Series?
I have no clue.
I
have no clue. It's all I've never gotten a phone call from Xfinity team. Never gotten a phone call.
Why do you think that is, Carson?
I don't know. I feel like all the teams are used to drivers going to them and saying, I got this much funding. What do I got? How many races am I getting? That's what it is. That's how it works. Niece Motorsports called me. I wasn't calling them. I didn't know they had an opening. I had no clue. I don't know how this thing works. I didn't know how it works. I didn't plan on calling them. I figured what for my sponsorship, for my funding, I was like, there ain't no way I could afford that. And they saw something in me and worked it out to where the little sponsorship I did have we could work it out and see how they needed a wheelman, and they needed someone to build on and make it sustainable for this company to survive for the next 2 to 3 years and something to grow on. And they somehow saw that in me, and we're on year 3 for, year 2 for full-time, year 3 as partners and as a team. And I think they're reaping the reward right now, as I for sure am. But I've never gotten a call.
So you don't have back in a closet a golden briefcase. You put your name out there, hang it on the side of the door, and let your talent speak for yourself. You realize that makes you a bit of a dinosaur in today's world, where and I've said this on the air many, many times and bemoan the fact that it's more how many followers have you got on social media? How good are you at activation? A lot of terminology that the old grizzled veterans like Petty and Pearson and Waltrip even would have looked at you and not known anything about it. You're just, as you said, a wheelman. Do you think that that's sufficient in the 21st century, Carson, for you to really eventually get to the top?
I don't know. I mean, if a few years, I'll have the answer if it worked or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if I win races enough, we've put on a handful of partners, which might allow me to have that golden briefcase, right? This year, Premier Securities jumped on board for a lot of races, and I had 8 races to sell this year that Premier didn't have, and we sold all of them.
Wow.
We hadn't announced them yet, but we sold all of them. I'm fully funded for this year in the sense that there's going to be a sponsor on the truck every race, and we're not to the play. Like last year, the playoffs, I didn't have any.
Yeah.
So that's if I was terrible, if I didn't work out, I was probably gone. But we ran plenty good enough, made the playoffs. Obviously, that it was like, oh man, like how are we going to afford this? How are we going to be sustainable? And luckily, Niece Motorsports has a lot of funded drivers this year, and luckily, I'm one of those now of how good we ran, but. I don't know about the future. I don't know.
Well, congratulations on being fully funded. But before I let you go, I certainly hope that part of the activation included at least a per diem for you to go out and buy a hat each week, because that's kind of become your signature. Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know. I have no clue. It just sort of started. I literally did one just because I liked the hat and wanted to wear it. And then I found a cool Waffle House hat. I was like, man, that's kind of funny. It'd be cool to wear that at Watkins Glen. And it took off so big that I figured, I'll just find 1 or 2 funny ones, and that'll be it. Be good laughs on Twitter, and try to explode it. It's kind of like stalling out right now, right? But like,
well, I can jumpstart it for you.
Yeah,
okay,
it's always fun to do.
Get a Rastafarian hat. With the long Rastafarian braids. And then when you go up there and the next time somebody isn't liking what you did in the cockpit of that truck, you say, ain't no big ting, man.
That's right.
There you go. Hey, it's a real treat to have you visit with us. And as I said before, I love somebody that's a wheelman that just wants to go out there and be judged by his talent. That first victory, once you bang that door down, man, you are going to be on your way just the way Harry Gant has been. And we wish you the very best. And I do appreciate your taking some time today here in the wind tunnel.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.